3.
This is not a conservative or liberal issue. It is an American one, and it is time that we as Americans embraced it. This was said by Theodore B. Olson, and he is currently a lawyer fighting Proposition 8 that originated in California. Our country was founded on the simple principle that all people should have the ability to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Moreover, we have made great strides in protecting the rights of all groups, starting with women's right to vote in 1920. Separate is not equal, as shown in Brown v. Board of Education in '54, and in all the various anti-discrimination movements of the 50s and 60s. But there is still one group that is discriminated against in this great country of ours. This group is gays and lesbians. The rest of us are free to marry whomever we please, but same-sex couples do not have the same ability. And there are several reasons why same-sex couples want to have the ability to be married. There are a great number of people in this country who wish to join in these unions, and a great many states and the federal government outlaw same-sex marriage. Nevertheless, there is hope. There are many supporters, and you should join their ranks. Then, get out there and do something. As I said, same-sex couples do not have the same rights and privileges as opposite-sex couples, and this needs to be remedied. The main way to fix this would be to allow same-sex couples to enter into marriage. Now, you may be interested. Why? Now, there are benefits to marriage. According to HowStuffWorks.com, there are 1,138 federal benefits, rights, and responsibilities associated with marriage. These include visitation rights and the right to make medical decisions. Like now, when a couple is forced to whether to pull the plug or to keep the other one alive. With a same-sex couple, because they aren't married, they will go to the next of kin instead of to the person's spouse. Other benefits include sick leave, days off for the birth of a child, pension and retirement benefits, family insurance plans, and tax benefits, such as being able to give free tax-free gifts to a spouse and to file a joint tax return, along with the ability to receive Medicare, Social Security, disability, and veterans benefits for a spouse. Also, discount rates for auto, health, and homeowners insurance. Now, according to data collected by the 2010 census and interpreted by the Human Rights Campaign, there are approximately 3.1 million people living in same-sex couples in the United States. According to the National Conference of State Legislators, several states are issuing marriage licenses to same-sex couples. These include Massachusetts, Connecticut, Iowa, Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, and the District of Columbia. Legislation has passed within the past year in Washington and Maryland to allow same-sex marriages, but these laws have not yet taken effect. In California, a federal appeals court found that the state's constitutional restriction on same-sex marriage, which they call Proposition 8, was invalid, but it has postponed enforcement pending appeal. A little bit more on that later. As you can see, our home state, Minnesota, has laws prohibiting same-sex marriage. And this November, there will be a vote by the public to amend the Minnesota Constitution to make this change permanent. But I'll get back to that later. One of the most recent events in the movement towards equality is in Maryland, thanks in part to an unlikely supporter, Dick Cheney. That's right, Bush's right-hand man supports equal rights for same-sex couples. The solution to the problem is simpler than one might think. Support is absolutely key. Polls as recent as 2010 have shown that the general public is growing more and more in favor of gay marriage. Many well-known people are for these equal rights. Among them, satellite radio personality Howard Stern, lesbian television personality Ellen DeGeneres, and as I've said before, ex-President Dick Cheney. In a quote he said in an interview to MSNBC, People ought to be free to enter into any kind of union they wish. Currently, one of the stories that has garnered much attention as of late is the fight against Proposition 8 in California. In November of 2008, the voters of California voted for a state constitutional amendment that would outlaw same-sex marriage. Keep in mind, up until this point, gay marriages were being performed in California. United States District Court Judge Vaughn R. Walker overturned Proposition 8 on August 4th of 2010, ruling that it violated both the due process and equal protection clauses in the U.S. Constitution. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals continued the stay, keeping Walker's ruling on pending appeal. The case against Proposition 8 is being led by self-proclaimed conservative lawyer Theodore B. Olson and David Boies. These two went against each other in the case of Bush versus Gore, and now they're working together to fight for same-sex rights. In an article Olson wrote in Newsweek, he stated that legalizing same-sex marriage would be in recognition of basic American principles and would represent the culmination of our nation's commitment toward equal rights. It is, some have said, the last major civil rights milestone yet to be surpassed by our two-century struggle to attain the goals we set for this nation at its formation. Lots of people disagree with same-sex marriage on a purely religious standpoint, but that's not the issue I'm discussing. I think this is purely a civil rights issue, not a religious one. Don't dismiss me yet. For example, did you know that the Catholic Church does not recognize a marriage after a divorce? So why should the stance on same-sex marriage be any different? The Church can believe what it wants to believe, but the government has another stance. Getting back home, as you may be aware, this November, the people of Minnesota will vote on whether to put in place the amendment that would outlaw gay marriage. I urge you to vote no on this initiative. I have a code at the end of the presentation that if you scan it, it will take you to a website where you can order a free bumper sticker to show your support. As you can see, there is this inequality in the states. But are you just going to sit there and let it happen? Or are you going to do something? Who are we to deny a growing section of our population equal rights? Louis Martinelli said it best when he said, "We have to stop seeing things in black and white all the time. The world isn't black and white. It's yellow, it's green, it's purple, it's red, it's orange, and it's blue."